The life of the Chinese people is really not easy. Even children know. Living is worrisome because it's hard to buy a house even if one struggles for a lifetime. Eating is worrisome because spoiled food and waste oil are hard to guard against. Getting sick is worrisome because one would have to spend all savings from the entire lifetime at the hospital. Being old is worrisome because there are no people to depend on and one can only drink porridge to survive. Eating meat is worrisome. There is fake mutton everywhere when one is trying to enjoy hot pot. After a lifetime of hard work, one's hair has turned white. Someone said this little adult makes people feel sad. Someone shared a video that shows long lines of crowded people at a Chinese hospital. This video gives people the impression that they are at a train station. Someone said the last time I visited the hospital with my child to do the nucleic acid testing, what I saw in the hospital's lobby was exactly the same as this. The child said it appeared even more dramatic than the train waiting area. Later, I met a doctor. He told me that this has always been the case. Someone said, Chinese hospitals have installed 2 layers of glass doors to prevent cold wind from coming in. Can you imagine that emergency room beds are placed between these 2 layers of glass doors? This was exactly what I saw in Shanghai Zhongshan Hospital. There were also hospital beds in the middle of several lines of people waiting to pay their bills. The doctors even did examinations in the open area. The air was so turbid that I could hardly breathe. Someone said, one time I finally ended up in the expert clinic, but the doctor only spoke less than 5 sentences and then called the next one. Someone shared a wife in Nanning City killed her husband who was paralyzed. When she was arrested, the wife cried and said that she really didn't have any more money. Someone commented, this is like a poor elderly man who took a piece of bread from a supermarket and was sentenced to jail. This is not the elderly man's fault, but the government's. In China, ordinary people have no money to treat illnesses, but CCP leaders, officials, and those affiliated with it enjoy high-quality medical care. As seen on the Chinese government's website, the CCP recently intended to establish a party branch in every single family household in China. Someone said the CCP wants to turn the younger generation into senseless beings that dare to report their parents. Someone said the CCP may amend the constitution to ensure that in the future, all Chinese people will be automatically CCP members after they are born. Recently, there has been a rumor spreading about the contents of the CCP's 5th plenary session. Some personnel changes will be decided, including Wang Qishan will step down, Li Keqiang will take over the vice premier or vice president of the state council and concurrently serve as secretary of the Shanghai Municipal Party Committee. Huang Kunming will take over Wang Huning's position. Wang Xiaohong will take over as Minister of Public Security. Cai Qi will move to the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, and Li Xiaopeng will take over as the Secretary of the Beijing Municipal Party Committee. This picture shows the original message. Someone said, it does not matter whether the content is true or not. The original text of the rumors can be written into history because it reflects that in the 21st century, Communist China once had a period when texts had to be encrypted. It was reported that township-level police station will be reformed in accordance with the management system of the county-level public security department. In the future, the director of the police station will be concurrently assumed by the deputy mayor. Someone said the total number of police officers in China is now 6 million. This latest practice or policy change in which the director of a police station is concurrently appointed by a deputy township chief will further strengthen police governance. In essence, the CCP is taking money from the Chinese people and at the same time raising millions against the Chinese people. Someone said the seats for the TOEFL testing centers in Beijing and Shanghai from January to October of 2021 were all taken within just 5 minutes after they were open. Someone commented, these youths claim to be very patriotic, but the reality has been the opposite. Someone recalled, It was the same when I took the TOEFL test more than 10 years ago. All the seats were taken instantaneously after they were opened. Someone wondered, is the TOEFL test still useful? What if the CCP refuses to issue passports? What if the US does not grant visas? Is the university market going to be internally circulating as well? Someone shared my Chinese passport and Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan permits were all confiscated by my employer. Then I checked online and found that all of these documents had been cancelled. It really caught me off guard, and this implies that my Korean and Japanese visas might also be invalidated. Someone said it really appears that the CCP is planning to lock the country. Someone said there are also even rumors that within the Chinese Communist Party system, people may have to report to local authorities if they want to leave the city for travel. Some city governing bodies have already required this to be done. Someone said it is estimated that smuggling will be difficult in the future. China will return to the state it was during the Mao era, as population movement will be strictly restricted. Someone said, I have a friend who was a visiting scholar in Chicago. She was pregnant. She was very hesitant about whether to return to China or stay in the US to deliver the baby. In the end, she chose to return to mainland China, and recently she told me that she truly regretted making that decision back then. I also know another visiting scholar who was also hesitant to stay in the US. He said he would return to China before making a decision, and recently he also sent me a message saying that he regretted making that decision because he could not get out of China now. Someone shared there was a Chinese girl from Shanghai. Her boyfriend already had a H-1B visa. Later, she decided to return to Shanghai. She faced all kinds of difficulties. Now she wanted to return to the US, but it is already too difficult to do so. Someone said, I know of a few couples who were visiting scholars in the UK. They took their children along with them, and clearly they encountered the epidemic. I advised the couple to not return to China, but they eventually went back. Someone said in China, many of those who are highly educated are actually inferior to common sense. Someone said they still don't seem to understand the evil nature of the CCP regime. Take a look at those CCP anchors who have gone to the US to have children after all the difficulties have been overcome. Why did they have such awareness? Because they brainwash others but don't at all believe in the lies that they tell. They are not foolish. Someone shared my relative in Shanghai went to the bank to exchange dollars some time ago, but the bank refused to exchange for her. After many struggles, finally, she was able to exchange dollars with help from some individuals. Recently, the Nature magazine published an editorial strongly condemning Trump's violation of science and science policy over the past 4 years and publicly expressed the hope that Biden can be elected. Someone commented, as the top magazine in the global scientific community, it is extremely rare for Nature to do so, as this is something that's not been done ever since its inception, a century and a half ago.
Child, we will bring you home. You'll be a flower that sees the spring, soon a dove flying high